Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. I'm Giuseppe RG from Informatica. Let's finally see on the road how our CarPlay monitor for motorcycles works. This is the Tiger model. Now we have tried it directly on the road, and let me explain for a moment how this monitor goes, what it allows us to do. We can connect our Android or iOS phone, then with Android Auto or for Play, and use all the information we have on our phone directly on the display with the touch function. We can use GPS navigation, phone call management. In this case, we also have the GPS speedometer with a small adapter. You can also connect with the famous BMW GS 1002 and 50. So we come with the protection for the display, so it's a slide like those used for mobile phones, obviously tailored to our display. We put this aside. We'll see that later. Let's see what's in the main box. This is not the first product we try in this category, so if you are interested, maybe go look for the old reviews, the one from a few days ago. We have already tried and tested another similar product. Maybe we will then do a review comparing the two models to see which of the two is better we have. Quick guide, usable with the QR code, then click on the QR code, takes you to the description, the video, how to assemble the product. Here we have a leaflet with quick instructions in Chinese, and this is all in Chinese, so you should download, if you have any doubts, the digital version by following the QR code, but it's not particularly complicated to use, so it's pretty simple. So this is the display. It's smaller than what we've already tried. The one we tried last time was wide, a bit longer. This one is more compact, about the size of a normal cell phone. The plastic kind of sucks because I already took it apart. That is, I opened it to see what's in the package and had already taken it off. Here it is, our display. Obviously off is all black. Above we have function keys. And we're going to see what are they for. Behind instead we have the knob for the bracket to be mounted on the handlebar, and obviously the power cable that leads to the battery or the USB port. In fact, here we have the USB cable with the connector, obviously waterproof. Also the display is obviously waterproof. The port, the USB plug that goes to the door of your motorcycle, and with this we can power our display. Obviously, if we had a power bank here at hand, we could turn it on directly now. Here we instead have stickers and clamps to fix the cables on the bike frame. So if we change it up to the battery we need, here we have adapters for the diameter of the handlebar to use it with the bracket. Then we have classic cable ties and connectors. They steal voltage. They are not good for connecting power cords without cutting them, so they get stuck. Then I'll show you how it's done. It's super simple to be able to plug into already powered cables without having to unplug them. This instead is the general wiring, the one we can use to connect it directly to the battery. Let's see if we can open it in a very elegant way. Okay. We obviously have the cable, the negative that goes to the battery. On the negative then we have the red and yellow that have to be connected, the red to the battery if I remember correctly, and the yellow goes to the subframe. So the display is powered only when we turn on the motorcycle panel. This obviously serves AA to avoid consuming batteries unnecessarily with the USB port. This is not useless because the door is powered only when you turn on the bike. So you will have the function only when the door is powered, so always under the house a small fuse. If there should be any problem, an overload, a short circuit, etc., we blow the fuse and avoid roasting something else. The connector is obviously waterproof and must be connected directly to this one behind the monitor. Then what else do we have? A screwdriver, Allen wrench for mounting, and the bracket that must be mounted to the handlebar. Compared to what we have already tried, the stuff is much smaller, much more compact. I don't know which of the two best. This one we have yet to try, so I will let you know in the comparison review. It is quite easy to handle. We have the classic eyelet. This you go to turn with the Allen wrench, then orient it as you want, and with the adapters we can take any type of handlebar. Any diameter without any problem is much slimmer, much lighter for a bike that has little stuff on the handlebars. Maybe this one is also more elegant than the one of the other model we tried the other day. But let's see how it works when we go. We are going to install additional accessories that we have on this model are the wheel pressure sensors, which must be mounted on the valves of the wheels themselves and communicate directly on our display the tire pressure, so we always have an eye on it. How are our wheels inflated? They are mats that then transmit the signal via Wi-Fi to our monitor, and from there it tells us what pressure we have the tires. Let's see if they are reliable. Let's see. We will also compare them with the other model. Let's see which is the best, and I will let you know compared to what we had already tried. Obviously the smaller display, a bit more elegant and always tracing, but we also have function keys up here. This also seems well made. Behind we have 1-1 carbon fiber type effect. I don't know if it is actually fiber or not, but it still has its weight, seems well made. The cords are also rubberized, very durable and long enough to cover any distance on any way. We have the waterproof bottom mat closed with the 2 screws, so if we were to act on the internal memory, if I remember correctly from the monitor control center, we would have to unscrew these screws, but you don't need it because everything is done by phone and touch anyway. So let's go see how it should be mounted on the bike and test it directly on the road. Mounting the bracket is simple enough, just tighten the screws. On the handlebar you can choose any position that is most comfortable for you. I chose this one, so I have it at hand, even if the ideal would be to put it at the height of the windshield. But for my bike you need a longer bracket made specifically to come out of the 4 tools. It is very simple, I repeat, to set up. Just adjust the screws with the Torx wrenches that we provide, and in a few moments we have our monitor in place. The only thing a little more particular to have to manage is how to make them get the power. So in this case I used a USB power bank, since my bike for now does not have USB ports on the dashboard, but soon I will also provide to this. Obviously, as we have already said in the unboxing, there is the alternative to the USB port. In fact, we have the wiring that goes directly to the battery, and then I would have to eventually disassemble the tank and saddle, get the cables to the battery and use the yellow cable to put it under the frame so that the monitor is activated only when I turn on the bike, otherwise it would consume the battery unnecessarily. We have no particular constraints with the locking mechanism, so we can put the bracket both vertically and diagonally with respect to the base. So we have the possibility to put it exactly as we want it in the position that is most comfortable for us to be able to drive safely and still have the monitor at hand. My power bank currently has to be put inside a magnetic bag on the tank so I can have it handy without having to install anything else on the handlebar. And in a few seconds the phone makes the call. Connection with our monitor. Mine is an iPhone, so we use CarPlay. Obviously, it is the first time we turn on the monitor and activate for Play or Android Auto on our phone. The two will try to connect, but we will have to confirm the association precisely to avoid that any phone can connect to our monitor, and therefore we must follow a very simple procedure. We only have to give consent and then everything else is activated automatically. Obviously, after doing it for the first time, there is no need to repeat this procedure. Just that the monitor is on and the phone is within reach of Wi-Fi signal, it connects automatically and everything goes smoothly without having to do any type of particular maneuver. The display among the various functions also has the ability to activate the lighting sensor, so the brightness and the display automatically adapts to the light that is there at that moment. So if at night, it will obviously lower the brightness so as not to bother us while driving. During the day we will have the possibility to have a higher brightness precisely to counteract the sunlight. The connection between phone and monitor takes place over Wi-Fi and can be made with either the 2.4 giga connection or the 5 giga version. So any type of phone is able to connect to this monitor. The monitor is very nice to look at, very vivid colors, it's a nice definition. We have 60 frames per second, so the animations on the monitor are also very smooth, and this gives a great feeling of quality to the product. The monitor is obviously touch, and we also have function keys on the top edge, but the key thing is to be able to use our monitor with voice commands. In fact, right now I'm asking the monitor to find me the way to the Etna Juniper Refuge in Piano Provenzana on Etna, so I activated the voice command asking just this destination. The system has set the path to take, and now all we have to do is follow it and get up to altitude. The bracket holds the monitor securely. There is no vibration on our handlebar, no signs of sagging or the monitor lowering on its own. Everything is perfectly stable, even if you're walking on surfaces that aren't exactly as smooth as the pavement you've seen before, or passing on a level crossing that isn't very smooth, the monitor still stays perfectly in place. Obviously, the use of such a monitor assumes that we have a Bluetooth hands-free system available inside our helmet, because we have the directions in voice mode, and above all, we do not have an external speaker. Also because on the bike we will hear very little then. However, we need an intercom. I bought one for about 30 euro or even 25 euro, which does its job very well and also allows us to listen to music while we are traveling. Among the various functions of the monitor, in fact, there is the possibility of listening to Spotify and local radio. Obviously transmitted digitally, so we have no coverage problems. The important thing is that our phone has range, so it has a stable data connection. We can safely listen to Spotify, listen to radios. We can read from the internal memory any songs we have downloaded. We can of course also make phone calls directly from our monitor and talk via our speakerphone inside the helmet. The speakerphone connection is not necessary to do it with the monitor, but just connect it with our mobile phone, so that even if we move away from the bike, we still remain connected with the speakerphone to our phone. The monitor will only serve us as a monitor, in fact, to see what happens from our phone while we are on the road. As you have seen, we tried it on the way to climb Mount Etna. She's up there cracking up. Sometimes it makes some black smoke, sometimes some white smoke. And he keeps us company. Anyway, let's see how this monitor goes by testing it on the road. The first thing that made the eye is the reaction speed of the monitor, both when we use it with the touch screen, both when we go to set the various commands, and the possibility of having an optimal visualization even under the sun. Now the sun is a bit covered, but until recently, as he lived on video, there was an excellent sun. Among other things, passing under the pines of the pine forest, there were quite sudden changes of light, and the monitor was visible in any situation, both with slightly darker lights and in full sunlight. It really is a great monitor. The bracket allows it to. Staying attached to the handlebar, as I put it, without having the slightest vibration or not moving even 1 millimeter, is perfectly anchored to the handlebar and gives a great feeling of security. All functions, of course, those audio must be used through a motorcycle intercom. I have one of just 30 euro. I leave you the link in description and it's fine. Among other things, with this intercom we can communicate both with our monitor and with the phone, both with the intercom that we have with the passenger or another motorcyclist on another bike. Up to about 2 kilometers in the open field we can share the audio, therefore the music, because through our monitor we can also listen to Spotify, or as you have seen also the radios, the most used ones, always through the connection to our phone. And as a result, we can hear it in the helmet and share it with our passenger. Thanks to the valves we have mounted on the wheels, we can control in real time the pressure of the tires and also the temperature at the height of the wheels themselves. This allows us to always keep the wheels under control, so if we should puncture, we will notice directly on the display that the pressure is dropping, so we can stop before we remain with the wheels so deflated. so what? Have some bad accidents. I mounted this monitor on my motorcycle. As you can see, he is a Super Tenere in 1992, so he is 32 years old and still walks very well. The peculiar thing about this bike is that it has no electronics apart from an almost ridiculous ECU, so it is an analog bike. And thanks to this monitor, we were able to make a leap forward with technology and bring it into 2024. In fact, we can use both the navigator and precisely to control the version of the tires. And we also have the GPS speedometer. We also have the possibility to use WhatsApp or Telegram directly to monitor via voice commands, and once set on the ability to use Siri or Google, we can command directly through the voice, through our intercom, our monitor itself. So just say, "Hey Siri," and the function of our voice assistant is activated. In that way we can go to set the destination of our navigator, and we can also decide to send a message or listen to WhatsApp messages indeed. When we receive a WhatsApp message, the notification appears on the screen. We also hear it in the helmet, and the system asks us if we want to listen to the message. If we press yes, if the message is voice, we hear the voice directly. If the message is written, the system reads our message, so we don't have to keep our eyes on the screen, but we directly hear everything in the helmet, and then the system asks us if we want to respond or not, or if we want to write a new message to someone else, so everything via voice dictation, and it works really well. In this case, we used a power bank. I put it on the magnetic bag I kept on the tank, and because of this I didn't have to do wiring inside the bike, then connect our monitor directly to the battery. This allows us to disconnect it much faster and not to modify the wiring of the bike itself. Obviously the monitor connects with the USB port, so in slightly more modern motorcycles that have a USB port available. Directly on the windshield, on the instrument panel, we can connect it directly there, or thanks to the wiring that we have supplied, we can directly connect the entire battery and the cable under the panel. So when we go to turn on the painting, our screen automatically turns on as well. It is very convenient. If we decide to keep it in a stable plant on the bike, to use the battery of the bike, so we do not have to carry with us also the power bank and the magnetic bag to keep on the tank. Obviously, if we have more bikes, it is better to use the power bank, so we move it quickly, or always the USB port. In some little short I posted on YouTube, someone complained that having a monitor like this on the bike can distract the rider from riding. But if we consider that most people use the phone even while riding the motorcycle, the scooter, in a way, we say little. Consistent with safety, there are those who put the phone inside the helmet, or those who place it on the handlebars. They do nothing but fiddle with the phone rather than look at the road. A monitor like this, which allows us, thanks to the hands-free, to be able to use all the information we need directly without taking our hands off the handlebars, is certainly an added value. Among other things, not everyone uses the motorcycle to make only Sunday rides. There are those who use the scooter or the motorcycle also for work as the main means of transport. So having the ability to manage messages, phone calls, and navigator without distracting from driving is certainly a great thing. Obviously, this monitor can work by connecting to both Android phones and Apple phones, so both with Android Auto, CarPlay, and we can use the Google Maps navigator or iOS Maps, or you can also install Waze for offline navigation. Maybe we will publish a tutorial on how we can add some more functions to our CarPlay monitor. And let's say that navigation, even if the monitor is on GPS, is based on location, on the GPS positioning of your phone. So the accuracy we have on our monitor depends on the phone. Almost all phones now have excellent GPS sensors, so we would never have major problems with road navigation. At the beginning of the video we had set as destination the Rifugio Ginevro del Etna in Piano Provenzana sul Etna. and our navigator took us there without any kind of uncertainty or problems. Never disconnected from the phone, never disconnected from the speakerphone. We had a really very pleasant and safe driving experience. By the way, I spent a bit of time watching the monitor, although I shouldn't have done it while driving, but let's just say the road was pretty empty at the time, so I could afford a little distraction. We had aimed at the juniper of Etna precisely because, being a stone's throw from the summit of the crater, I hoped to see some explosion, like the one in the video I am adding. At this moment, unfortunately, Etna has limited itself to making only a few puffs of black smoke, but oh well, the important thing was to review the monitor rather than see Etna in action. Wishing to conclude our review on this monitor, we can say that it is definitely a product of excellent quality. Everything works perfectly, visibility is excellent, responsiveness is also excellent. Thanks to the USB power, we can easily install it on any type of bike or even bike if you want. And so we don't even need the mechanic to do the work on it or the electrician to connect it to the battery. Those who want to connect it to the battery can do so safely with the wiring that is supplied, and then let's say that we solve all possible situations imaginable. As for the installation of this monitor, my opinion on this monitor is definitely very positive. I like it quite a bit, and I believe I will leave it in stable plant on my bike. Now you will see more reviews of other monitors like this. Then we will do a final comparison review on the various models and see which is the best considering price, technical characteristics and functionality. Meanwhile, if you like this one and want to buy it, I leave you the link in the description with a discount coupon that you can use to get a more advantageous price. Are there other models available? There are a few. Already prepared with the bracket to be connected to the system of the BMW GS 1002 and 50, and then surely you will find the exact model for your bike. For this review, I think that's it. I thank you for the attention you have given me. I know the review is long, but the monitor. It has several characteristics that should be studied. If you like the review, leave a like. Also subscribe to the channel so you will not miss notifications of the next videos of the next monitors. Thank you for your attention and see you next time. Hello from Giuseppe Dieligi of Informatica.